Hey everyone, I'm going to show you my take on a mask. So right now everyone is making cotton masks under recommendation here in North America because of COVID. I'm going to be using these Scott Shop blue paper towels, heavy duty, kind of industrial strength paper towels. I'm in Inuvik, and for anyone also here in Inuvik, there are a couple rolls of this material left at Northmart if anyone wanted to go and get it. Cotton still works, but if you can go and get yourself some Scott Shop, these blue paper towels, and each roll is about 50, you double this up and this is going to be better. If you've never used them before, they're not regular paper towels. They're pretty durable. 2-ply of these, some recent studies have shown that these are actually, they have a better efficacy rate than cotton. So I like that better than just plain cotton. And I don't have a sewing machine, so I just want something simple. And why not combine that with origami and no need for any stitching whatsoever. You could essentially use a stapler if you really wanted to. So an example of a finished mask, before you get all afraid that I said origami. Origami is just paper folding. Of course, we're not going to make them out of paper. We use them with the paper towels, but you can also use cotton. It's very simple, it's not hard. So this is a finished mask. This one's a bit too small for me, but I've got a couple other designs that I've been working on today. But in the end, what you're going to get is something like this. And one-handed, let's put this on. This is my isolation haircut. I hope you like it. It's the mohawk that I've always wanted as a kid, but was never allowed to have. So, yeah. Anyways, that's the mask. I got my big ears, but it goes on quite well. You can pretty much see that it's vacuum, it's form fitted to my face, so it's quite nice. And for people who've worn N95 masks, you've got that bridge piece. This is just a piece of paper clip. But what I like about this is that the mask is not suctioned to my face. I have room to breathe. Whereas with a cotton mask, you're going to be having a piece of fabric like this. And your mouth is right there. And you're basically, if that ever gets wet, or heaven forbid, the virus actually gets onto your mask, it's right next to your face. I don't want to take any chances. This is relatively easy. And I have seen, and I don't recommend this, but I've seen people actually make these masks. That's originally where the project came out of. They were using HEPA filters, vacuum bags and HEPA filtration air purifiers. Now, HEPA filters and vacuum cleaner bags, a lot of them have fiberglass inside. You don't want that against your face, so I don't recommend using it unless you actually know, but you can Google online. There's a lot of HEPA filters that are just using natural fibers and things like that. So this mask was folded. The only thing I've done on the bottom is I've taken a needle and thread, and you can see I've just stitched the bottom piece closed. You don't need to use a needle and thread because I said no sewing. If you have a stapler, that works just the same, but it certainly doesn't require a sewing machine. Mainly a sewing machine, you're actually stitching around like the rectangle, folding pieces over so that they're not fraying, things like that, and I don't have the time for that. So this took about, honestly, I could fold this in 60 seconds, and then you just put over a piece of elastic. You could also use shoelace, anything else. For those that are interested, just a quick origami lessons. There's 2 types of folds. These dotted, like the dashed lines, and it's just a solid dash, like dash, dash, dash. These are what are called valley folds. These lines here, where it's a dash and then a dot and a dash and a dot, those are called mountain folds. A valley fold, this particular case here, the dashed line, that's what this is. So it's facing you, and that's in the shape of a valley. A mountain fold is this, where it's in the shape of a mountain because you're looking at it. So mountains come towards you, valleys push away from you. So you get the idea. Think of them as ridge lines. All right, to start, I am going to fold an example of the mask out of a piece of paper. So very quickly, I have this, and I'll go over this shortly after, but I just wanted to show you how easy this is. Ta-da! And you would, in this case, a piece of tape here, because this is paper. Paper does not work for a respirator mask because you can't breathe out of it, and then you would fold this little triangular piece down like that, and that's your mask. Essentially, this is what you're going to get. You can download this, you can print it out, or you can just follow along with a similar shape. This is what you get. Same thing. I don't have the pattern, or I don't have the lines on here, but I'm just going to do this with you guys. So I'm going to fold it down the middle. So I'm just going to fold it like so, and I'm going to cut this stuff out. That piece is ripped. So I'm essentially making it entirely from scratch. This is where your nose will be. So I'll try and I mean, this is paper, obviously, just so you can get an idea of how to fold it. Folding it with cotton, or in my case, the blue paper towels, is a bit different because with paper, you obviously have a crease. With paper towel, you don't. So you'd end up using some pins if you wanted to, just to hold things in place. So I have this. And what I want to do is I want to fold this edge here to this edge here, completely 90 degrees. So essentially, this in here in the middle, you're folding it over. So just take that corner to that corner and this edge to this edge. Just like that. Cool. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to open this, and you're going to invert this fold, because you just folded it the other way. So it's easier like this. So what you're going to have is that. And you're going to push that up and close it. Now, you're going to open this up, and you're going to hold these two pieces together, and you're going to push this down. You want that triangle to go all the way up to the tip. And this crease right here, you want that to line up with this crease here. So bring those down, see the line straight down, and then you're just gonna press. Again, with fabric, it's a little bit harder, but you're gonna line it up just the same. So now you have this. Now we're going to press this down and just fold it back in half. Okay. Now on the crease pattern, we've got these extra lines here. I don't have them on here, so I'm just going to use this other fold as an example. Okay. And just so I can get the mark, it's there, and you would have it on this particular pattern. The line is there. So I have that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it all over on that line. And you can fold it in the other direction on the same line. You just want to double score it. And now you straighten it out and you open this up and you fold that whole piece on those two lines up. And you close it. And you're done. Use a piece of tape. And as I said, you're obviously going to be doing this with cotton, or in my case, paper towel. But I'm just going to, so this is, you see the mask, the slit in the front, this is where your mouth's going to go. Your nose is pretty much here, your eyes are up here, and this is like your ears. So you want to close this, and then with fabric, you would either stitch this or you would use a stapler. In this case, I'm just using tape so I can show you. Now the final part is when you open this up, you've got all these flaps in the middle. So you kind of want to reach inside and so you see this, the line here and the bottom line, you just want to flatten that. With fabric, a whole lot easier. I'm just gonna bring it down and press it down. And you basically have something like that. All right, so you've got your mask, and it essentially goes on just like that. See? So you're going to use the paper template to trace it onto the paper towel or onto your cotton, whatever fabric you're using. Paper towels, I'm going to use 2 pieces. So 2 pieces should be enough. I guess you could use 3 if you'd want, and I'll show you a little test afterwards. And again, there are studies on the internet which I will link to. Okay, so what you're going to do is we're going to take our template. I'm just going to use the one that I have so I can trace it out. So what I would do is I would fold this in half. Okay. So now I can take my template and I'm going to place it right on here. And you see it's just a little bit bigger, but it shouldn't really matter. And again, your nose would be up here. And your ears back here. Okay, done. Now, I will cut off these pieces. So now you have this, and just like our paper template, you're going to fold this edge to that edge, that corner to that corner. So just make sure we're flat, and I would fold it like that. Okay, so easy. Now I will open this up, and you can see, as I said, it's a little bit difficult because it's fabric. So I'm going to fold on that line, and then this one is already folded. So you just need a little more patience. Done. Cool. Open it up, and we're going to press this triangle down. So put your 2 fingers maybe here, and then kind of open this up, and then fold this down like so. There's a crease line here. Just line it up, flatten it down. Cool. Now I fold it over. Cool. Line it up. Now again, with your template, you're going to have the lines. And if you've already printed one off, then you will know where to fold it. So and I fold this up, and I will draw that line, and I'll do it on the other side just for simplicity. Okay. Draw the line, so that's your fold line. So you're gonna fold like this, but as I said, fabric, the fold doesn't go through all the pieces of paper. So but what that fold does is when you open this up, you can see the line kind of. So we're going to fold up on those lines right here. You can see the line right there. So I'm going to fold that up. Same thing on this side. And then I close. Cool. And that's it. Now, I said no sewing, as in no sewing machine. You have a stapler, staple, staple. 3 if you want to. I don't have a stapler. I had to go buy a pair of scissors. So I do have a needle and thread, and all I want to do is just lock this together. So super simple. Anyone who doesn't claim to know how to sew can do this. With paper towel, like this type of material, you can actually use tape if you wanted to. So I just want to push this, hold this together, and done. 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 The idea is just to hold it together. Alright, so just tie it off in a knot. You can get as fancy as you want. Some people like to tuck that inside. If you do know how to sew, this is still a whole lot faster, like doing the folding, as opposed to using a sewing machine and sewing everything. So that is your mask. Now you open it up, and as we said, we've got all this fabric down here in the bottom. You're gonna open it up, find the middle, and you're essentially just folding those triangles down. And that just creates the bottom, just like that. If you really want to, staple that stuff down if you'd like, or just press it down, but that seals the bottom. If you want, use your thread and needle to stitch that piece down. Now, let's see. All right, so you got your mask, put it on, that's it. All right, so for the ear loops, we didn't use this piece of this brown paper towel, or you have extra scraps of cotton, you can use that as well. So in this case, I had folded it in half like this, and this was already 2 pieces. So I'm just going to cut a thing to double it up. So I'll do this. So I want these. What you would do here, if you wanted to stitch it, if you wanted to use shoelace or twine or something, or an elastic, you could put the elastic, imagine this was an elastic. You'd put it like this, and then you would fold this over and then staple it down. That's it, super simple. Stapler, stitch it. In this case, I'm going to make ear loops, so you would fall. For sake of time, I'm not going to actually do it. I'll show you what I mean though. So you're gonna have that. I'm just gonna fold that over. You could triple layer this if you wanted to. So you've got this loop, and you would put that here. And given we've got our thread and needle, if you have your stapler, staple. If you wanted to, thread that through there and adjust those for your ears. If you wanted to get super fancy, given that this is 2-ply, you could put these in the middle, close it off, and stitch it up. So let me show you what it looks like. This is an example where instead of these loops, I used elastic. Okay, so if you have elastic, great. Again, that's the only stitch. In this case, the nose bridge is really nice because it actually presses the mask to your nose. You see on those N95 masks, there's a piece of pliable metal. If you're wearing sunglasses, the bridge of your nose, the bridge of the glasses will just press this onto your nose, which is great. That's the only piece. In this case, I took a paper clip, and you can see here, I took a paper clip and I cut it, and then I just bent it over my nose, put it down, and then just took a needle and thread and stitched it. But yeah, you don't need to be a seamstress to do any of this with a thread and needles. This one I just stitched on the inside like so, very simple. This one I actually put between the 2 pieces of fabric. And yeah, and that's it. And I'll try this on and show you after. These ones I actually had done this. So again, I just stitched it. I don't have a stapler here, but in this case it was just single apply. If I pulled really hard, these would rip, but just don't. They're far durable enough. This is a slightly different design down here, but you can see that it's stitched up and folded over. Same principle. This was another one that I was doing. So these ones go around your ears. This one I wanted to go around the back of my head, but I don't really like the way it fits over my ears, so I'm trying to come up with a different method. But you could create your hooks any which way you wanted. This origami design has been going around quite a bit. If you're not really looking for that, you might not know about it. But this is my own design. When I say it's my own design, I've modified another design. Origami is very, I want to say, kind of fundamentally basic. If you want to make the shape for the bottom of your chin and the nose, there's really only a couple folds. So I tried one originally and I didn't really like it. It didn't really fit my face. So I tried a bunch of different versions, came up with a bunch of different prototypes, and this is the one that I like. So what I like about these is that my mouth is back here and there's a pocket of air. So I don't know, lack of demonstration purposes. If COVID came in and like landed here and was on the mask, when you're taking this off, you are not going to touch it. You're just going to touch this and you're going to dispose of the mask. Whereas if you were doing this with just a straight up cotton mask, for instance, and the cotton mask was up against your face and COVID came in, I don't know, peace of mind tells me I would rather it be out here than flush against my mouth, where, yeah, use your imagination. So, in order to wash these, I have put them in water and kind of rinsed them. They don't tear like a regular paper towel, they're pretty hardy. What you can do though is just boil them if you want to. I've been meaning to throw them in a pot and just boil it. Add some soap if you want to. These, given how simple they are, and you can make one in under a minute, maybe an extra couple minutes for these, they're meant to be disposable. I've seen a bunch of masks come out of China that were actually deemed fake, and the test was to try and blow out a lighter to see if your breath was actually permeating the mask. So seems to work pretty good, so I think we're good. Hope you enjoyed. Take care. Be safe.